what's up, everybody? Just wanted to follow up with you guys after we went through the New City Catechism question on God's creation and how God created everything good. I think it was 5. We had some conversations, and so a couple of thoughts really quick. 3 thoughts on this issue, if you will, of God being good, God's creation being good. And yet, if we're honest, we look around the world and we see chaos and we see evil. And let's just call it what it is. Some of what we're seeing in the world is just plain evil. And so the first thought that I wanted to share with you guys is kind of just a perspective shift, if you will. We have good in this world and we have evil in this world. And as Christians, we wrestle through the idea of God being good and yet the world having evil present. And it is worth wrestling with that. And it's worth acknowledging that that is not an easy thing to wrestle through, but hopefully this helps. And this is really kind of like a rudimentary way of thinking about it, but if I have 1 square foot of good and I have 1 square foot of evil, good weighs more. And that's the perspective shift that I think we need to have. At least I need to have this, is that the good in this world is more fundamental to how God created everything. So good endures, but the evil that we see in this world will pass away. And so good is actually more potent than evil. But sometimes we don't see that, because when we see evil in this world, we're kind of shocked by it. And we think, oh man, that shouldn't be, right? And that should be a clue to you that goodness is more fundamental to reality than badness, because we kind of accept good when we see it. We kind of go, okay, that's good and that's the way it should be. But then when we see evil, it sticks in our minds because it's a contrasting thing. It's like we see it and it shouldn't be. And so sometimes that can outweigh or distract us from actually seeing the good in the world. And I'm not saying don't look, do one of these and don't look at the evil. I'm just saying that if we can manage a perspective shift and realize that the good in this world is that much more good than the evil that we see, I think that it allows us to kind of wrestle through what evil actually is and kind of put evil in perspective, and realizing that the good is actually something that's eternal and the evil is actually something that's going to kind of pass away. So that's kind of the first idea, is just a perspective shift. The second one is maybe even a little bit more philosophical, and that's just that what I see some people doing, Christians will wrestle through this idea of a good God but evil in the world, and the solution is, well, then I need to walk away from my faith. I need to abandon this idea that God is good, or abandon the idea of God altogether. And the problem with doing that is that now I have the same issue. I just have it in reverse, because whereas a Christian, I have to wrestle through the problem of evil. But as an atheist, I have to wrestle through the problem of good. And because we just said good is more fundamental to this world, I actually have a harder time explaining the existence of good than I do as a Christian explaining the existence of evil. Because let's say in an atheistic world or an evolutionary model of this world, then things like love and justice don't make much sense. The reason we call out for justice is that people have an intrinsic value to them. They're special. They're children of God. And as a Christian person, I can see that every life has a sanctity to it, is valuable, is something that we should be preserving. But if I'm an evolutionist, then there's really nothing vastly different between me and the tree behind me, let's say. And if that tree is in my way and I want to build a deck, well, I just cut the tree down, and there's no real problem with that, I guess. And so now if I take God out of the equation and I look at the world, maybe I feel like I've solved maybe the issue of evil. If there is no God, then yes, I should be seeing evil. But if there is no God, why do I see good? And I guess I would rather see the world the way it is and kind of hang on to my belief in God, because I think it makes more sense out of this world, even though I will confess it's difficult to wrestle through the issues of evil. So that's kind of the philosophical one. Well, the third thing is this. Sometimes we look at the evil in this world, and we look at the chaos going on, and we just, well, God, why doesn't God do something? And I asked this question of myself. I had a friend who died in a car accident. He's a young man, and I just got really frustrated by that. I had several friends die back to back in several different car accidents. And this one, I kind of got frustrated. If it's okay, I got pissed off. Like, that would be the word. Like, I was angry at this situation. And I was just going, God, why didn't you do something? Why didn't you do something, anything, for this young man? And I remember just feeling very profoundly that God spoke to me with these words, and he just said, Pete, I did do something. I did exactly what he needed me to do. And we look at the chaos in this world, and we look at the evil in this world, and when we wonder, why doesn't God do something? We have to realize that God did the one thing that we truly needed him to do. He died for us. He sacrificed himself to free us from the evil, from the sin, from the bondage that we see in this world. And that maybe isn't the solution that you are hoping for. You know, you want God to kind of take away the discomfort and take away the pain. And I get you. I mean, I'm there. But we can't lose sight of the fact that he did the one thing that we really needed him to do. And that one thing that he did really solves all of the other kind of smaller issues that we deal with in this world. And so I hope that is an encouragement for you. I hope that doesn't just sound like Christian, churchy, religious platitudes, but the evil of this world will pass away. And God has done something and is doing something. And I think that he also invites us to participate with him in the justice, in the love that he is sharing with the world. And the challenge is that we just, in the meantime, don't get overwhelmed or too daunted by the chaos, by the evil, by the confusion. And so take heart, young people, and go forth, spread the love. And when you are doing that, don't be weary from the world that is kind of crazy and is kind of in chaos and does have a lot of evil present in it. Hopefully just a few quick thoughts. I don't know if that's quick. I don't know how long I've been talking, but hopefully that's encouraging for you guys and we can kind of move forward. And love your guys' questions, love responding to your guys' questions, having this conversation with you guys, going through life and doing life with you guys. So be encouraged. Share this with a friend, and you don't have to share the video or anything like that, but just share these words, share that encouragement. And love hanging out with you guys. Look forward to being with you in the next one.